Stand by. The program will begin soon. I don't know why I'm talking about this. During World War II, we sent 90 million pounds of spam just to the Russians alone. I mean, we sent it all over the world. Our troops, especially in the Pacific Theater, ate it. That was basically what they ate all the time. 90 million pounds to the Russians. Apparently in like the 50s, Nikita Khrushchev said, you know, if they hadn't sent us all this spam, they might not have been able to feed their troops during World War II. So a little weird canned kind of ham pork product, canned meat, may have won World War II. And the Fed is trending on X. And I wasn't sure why, and I'm still not 100% sure why, although part of it is because of this building that they're renovating. They're supposed to be renovating one of the buildings at the Fed, right? And the other day, Donald Trump came out there with Jerome Powell, and they're talking about how the renovation of the building was kind of a little bit over budget, okay? First of all, the numbers on this are crazy. They wanted $2.something billion to renovate a building at the Fed. $2.1 billion. Well, this is $2.5 billion. But they're over budget by over $1 billion for one building. They're over budget over $1 billion for one building. $1 billion friggin' dollars for one building. This isn't even for building a new building. It's for renovating a building. What the actual F are they doing? If after a night of filling your rectum with vodka from a turkey baster, the cops find you changing a flat in the cereal aisle of a Piggly Wiggly and ask how much you've had to drink, and you say nothing, are you lying? Well, no. Now, if they had been asking, have you been injecting? You'd have to say yes, but they said, have you been drinking? Well, no, absolutely. Yeah, Lord Stanhope, absolutely not. In fact, you all can try to answer these questions. Stand by. The program will begin soon. A WNBA game got stopped in the middle of the game because one of the players lost their wig while they're playing, and they had to run off. And then some fan made fun of the player, and they had to run. And they kicked the fan out for making fun of a player losing the weave. Not a weave, it was a wig. Losing their wig. They had to have a timeout for the wig, a wig emergency. Which I'm like, why the F are you wearing a wig while you're playing basketball? But then yesterday, I believe it was yesterday, a game had to be stopped briefly because someone threw a big old green dildo on the floor. Someone threw a dildo out on the floor, out of the court. They had to stop the game. I don't know if they caught the person who sent the dildo, but the green dildo was on the court, and a large number of the players had no idea what to do with something of that shape, but that's okay. It happened, and then someone made this t-shirt or this meme, pay us what you owe us, which has a dildo on it. So that was fun. Hey, you know what the really good interrupt violence through community-based bystander training? Yeah, if the bystanders beat the fuck out of someone who's attacking somebody else, that would be great bystander training. They could send them to the MMA gym, you know, put them in an arm bar, smack them in the face a few times. Stop doing that bullshit. That would be the best community-based bystander training, but I don't think that's what it means. Anyway. And then the other one, they'll go back all the way to Dylan Roof. Dylan Roof's the other one, which, does anyone, okay, let me ask you something. A lot of you are right-leaning on the right. Is there anybody in this that you, anyone you know of? Is there anyone that you know of on the right who supports or supported Dylan Roof? Because I know everyone I can think of who's like, Dylan Roof, fuck that guy. He went out and murdered people in a church. Fuck that guy. But the left is like, oh, he was a right-wing extremist. Nah, he's a fucking asshole. Fuck that guy. Yeah, fuck Dylan Roof. Nobody gives a shit about Dylan Roof. Nobody claims him. Nobody wants him. He's an asshole. Okay? He's a little punk bitch asshole who killed a bunch of people in the church. Stand by. The program will begin soon. Reverend Robin Bartlett of First Church of Sterling, Massachusetts, uses John 1:14 of the Bible to justify why she brings her 11-year-old son to drag shows. This is what we're getting in the Rainbow Church. The Rainbow Church aren't exactly hiding. That's true. The Word became flesh and lived among us, and my body, your body, their bodies are home for the living God. That is why I take my 11-year-old boy to drag shows in the summer with my friend and fellow church leaders, Kate, and her 11-year-old boy. Especially if you're a man, bodies can be celebrated and played with. That's her message. What the fuck? California wants to let someone that is not related to your child remove her from school, him or her, enroll her in any other school in the state, authorize any medical treatment, including mental health services and drugs, without the parent's notice and knowledge or consent. Can you see where that might be a problem? This is not fear-mongering. I'm not being hyperbolic, she warned. These are unintended consequences, and it is terrifying. They are unconscionable or unavoidable. So that's one really bad California law that they're coming with. I can't believe. I'm just dumbfounded that they're doing it. Now this is interesting. That new mayor candidate, the leading Democratic mayor candidate for New York City mayor, Damme, wants cops to stop responding to attacks on Jews. And by the way, Jews in the New York City are victims of the majority of hate crimes. Not a plurality, but the majority of hate crimes against people in New York are against Jewish people. And you know, especially religious hate crimes. Anyway, 345 hate crimes in New York City last year, more than all other minority groups combined, according to the New York Police Department data. Anti-Jewish crimes accounted for 54% of the 641 total hate crimes reported to police in the city in 2024. Since the beginning of the year, 60% of the 123 recorded hate crimes have targeted Jews, according to the New York Police Department. Well, Zohran Mamdani, the radical Islamist and leftist terrorist supporter, has proposed that New York Police Department not respond to hate crimes, instead that they be handled by social workers. Either this shifts resources away from responding to attacks on Jews and moves away from having law enforcement deal with those attacks, and instead has his political leftist allies deal with them by burying them. Every day on my show, if I put something on the screen or I'm talking about it, or it's a topic or an article that I'm presenting in this show, I provide links to every single thing that I've talked about, and even more, the ones I didn't even get to. I drop them in the chat at the end of the show, and also I drop them in the description. So if you want to find these articles, they will be in the links at the end of the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only PDawgKnight.
Oh yeah, I'm digging these new grooves, my new theme song, the new countdown, and all that. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as PDawgKnight on the internet. Welcome back to the Dawg Knight Channel, where we are just jamming to the funk today. Yeah, I like that. Anyway, just switching things up a little bit. They've had the same theme song for so many years, so this is the new one. I don't even know what it's called, but I like it. Nice little bass groove in it. Kind of reminds me of the beginning of Superstition. Anyway, hi, happy Tuesday and happy Taco Tuesday. Yeah, every day is gonna be Funky Friday now. I just can't. I love it. Anyway, so yeah, boy, do I got a lot of stuff to do today. I'm gosh, I wish I could get home earlier now. But anyway, let's just start the show because I got a lot. We'll say who's in the chat. But first, before I even do that, we have a Streamlabs Superstar sponsor today. That'd be Gunfox61 dropping Hamilton's left and right. Got a couple articles here. One about China. Leave those turtles alone. Okay, are they making turtle soup over there? What's this one? And then there's another one that says you don't say. Oh my God, that's okay. That's kind of a funny headline. And okay, and both the articles are from the BBC.
That's right.
Yeah, not that BBC though. Sorry. You don't want to see that anyway. Never mind. Anyway, so yeah, let's say hi to everyone in the chat and get going. First in the chat today is Avocados Diablo, who gets the bell, doing it right, getting here quick. Louis, you were that close, brother. Really, Lewis, you were that close. Good morning to you too. Mike Savage, Blarg, Gunfox61, the administrator of the PDawgKnight Discord server, which I've been neglecting lately. I want to do something over there though that's exclusively for the Discord crowd because I've been trying to. I just don't know how to use it that well. But we'll have a live chat room or something someday soon. Plague Trucker Zach, what's up? AKA Zach Osborne. Also the Pope. Hold on, we got another Hamilton from Gunfox61 with another article. He's going to be hijacking the show quite a bit today. Okay, so we'll get there. Thank you, sir. Another Hamilton. You are the Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. But see, if someone puts 10:01, they'll get the dancing girl back up there. So, because the Superstar sponsor of the day is biggest total of the day, but the dancing girl goes to the largest donation of the day. So if you have $10.01 donation, you will outdo Gunfox at least getting the dancing girl up there. So anyway, Jack Cochran's girlfriend, you know who I'm talking about. Anyway, the Pope's here. Pope Tyrannus III, the Blessed Lich, with a message of hope, blessing of the divine among the dead, bask in his creation today, and take a second to smell the flowers. Yes, you gotta stop and smell the roses. You got to count your every blessing every day. Yeah, you gonna find your way to heaven is a rough and rocky road if you don't stop and smell the roses along the way. The great Mac Davis, remember him? Well, maybe you don't. I remember Mac Davis, but that's the only song I remember him singing. He had a couple hits back in the 70s. Anyway, also good morning to our friend Banks. Robert Banks is in the house. What up, brother? Attack Alpaca and Blue-Eyed Scream. Is that it? Oh, no, there we go. I had to scroll a little bit. There's a whole bunch of yous here. Who else is here? Bookworm Addict, good morning. TC's in the house. Resolute Germ. And my other favorite Canadian, Unacceptable Views. Johnny Boomertex running the keys. Darren Roots in the house. And Willie is in a chat. This makes a video out of it from Grok. Is kind of cool. Wait, what? This make a video out of it from Grok is kind of cool. What is that? What are you talking about? I'm not sure what you mean. Does Grok have a function like that too? Because I've used a different one. Oh, and Mrs. Hayes is in the house. Say hi to your long lost cousin. And Simon Wilkins, what's up? Tell me about this make a video out of this from Grok. I'm curious what that is. Anyway, you're lurking. Oh, Mrs. Hayes is lurking. All right, cool. All right. Well, let's get into it because that's what I do. Duh. And first, let's see. I did the chat already. Notifications. I'm not gonna forget this day because I forgot it yesterday and I felt kind of bad. People sharing the show, I greatly appreciate it. Let's scroll through that real quick. Of course, I'm gonna guess. Yes. Lincoln Description, aka Somnambule Nation, tweeting out the show before me. Thank you very much for doing that. And a little Simon Wilkins. Every day is a crowded theater. Is there a fair edition? That's me. He's posted the show. I greatly appreciate that. Excuse me. And what is this? Probably took place on a Tuesday. Cookie dough canister explodes in man's rectum during shoplifting incident in Kentucky. Oh my God. Oh my God. What? In a Walmart too, of course. Oh my God. That's the mugshot? Well, at least he's not writhing in pain. Stealing cookie dough in rectum. First of all, look, if you're who's going to eat them cookies? Even if you're successful with that. Holy shit. Good morning, Hoko Sports. What's up? Who's eating them cookies? Nobody. I almost said nobody's eating that shit. I talk shit, but I don't eat it. God, dog. Anyway, thank you for that. I think Somnambule Nation. Also, the Daily Ric Flair. Woo! From the Ric Flair. And let's see, people sharing the show, Resolute Germ, Tyre Alexander, and Lincoln Description, aka Somnambule Nation. Yep. And we got is that Kane? Yeah. Thank you, Resolute Germ, dropping the Daily Wrestler, other than Ric Flair. And TC sharing the show without my pre-approval because you don't need it. It's perfect. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciate it. Thanks to people sharing the show. Do that on the daily. Someone might show up here. I have 15 new subscribers over the last week, so that's a good start. But that's, oh, what is this? Oh, this is the clip. Oh, my goodness. Okay, look at this. This is what you're talking about? Wait, I'm sorry. This is from, Simple Mind. No, not Simple Mind. Who did this? This is kind of cool. You can't see it because I haven't done that on the screen. Look at this. This is from my Abby. From is it from X? My ex Abby. That looks like me actually moving around. Holy shit, that's kind of cool. By the way, that's from a drawing that my daughter made that Abby for me. That's her. She made the drawing, and so that's kind of cool. That looks like me when I was a little younger, minus the beard and shit. But anyway, all right, that's cool. All right, cool. Very, very cool. All right, I need to save that somehow. How do I save that? I'm gonna find a way. Anyway, that's cool. All right, I might have to put that in my my next intro or something. So anyway, all right. Thank you very much, people sharing the show. Greatly appreciate it. I'm playing Truckers Act 2. PDawgKnight, made by Grok. Image. So that's cool. All right. Select the boys in the house. Bright and early now. Yeah, how about you? Boy. And yeah, it's really good, by the way. And yes, that's my ex. Oh, your Simple Mind is your ex. Okay, cool. That's good to know. I did not know that offhand. And did anyone else show up that I missed? Did I miss anybody? I think I got everybody. Darren Root, yeah, you're here. All right. He's becoming sentient, yeah. Okay. Oh, here's an interesting question. That I just happened to, this showed up. Be honest, $1 trillion or 10-minute dinner with Jesus? $1 trillion or 10-minute Well, Jesus would be all judgy and shit, so I'm just going to take the money. I'm just saying. Hello, Richard Head. What up, Dick? How you doing? Nice to have you here. Everyone's saying the money. Take the money. Show me the money! But what if Jesus blessed you so much that you would never need money again? See, now I'm just saying. Yeah, Jesus, I have questions. I have questions too, man. And look, I've lived this long without $1 trillion. I'll be fine another, whatever 20, 30 years I'm alive, if I make it that long. Shit. But that's a good question. All right, let's get into the show. Today is World Elephant Day, which is, obviously we have the holidays a lot, and it's World Elephant Day. What is that? That's not elephants. Okay, it's elephant shadows. Oh, that's weird. Are those baby elephants they're walking with? Okay, so the shadows. Anyway, by the way, the death of an elephant is really the cause for a celebration. But when Lugard, the majestic super tusker in the Tsavo conservation area in Kenya, passed away naturally due to old age after years of roaming freely, it was a quiet victory for the conservationists, marking a significant shift from these mammals perishing at the hands of poachers. Lugard was one of just a few super tuskers that roam among Kenya's elephants. These living legends, of which only 10 roam Tsavo, are revered for their giant tusks, each weighing at least 45 kilograms. That's about roughly 100 pounds, and scraping the ground as they walk. But this unusual feature is a double-edged sword, leaving them highly at risk for attack by poachers. Even for Tsavo's other elephants, danger lurks in the form of human-elephant conflict. Yet, thanks to the work of the field-based conservation NPO Tsavo Trust is doing, both with the animals and among local community, the elephant population in this region is on the rise. A recent census by the Wildlife Research and Training Institute estimates that there are at least over 17,000 elephants roaming the Tsavo ecosystem, an increase from the 2021 census. Meanwhile, Tsavo expects that the number of super tuskers to rise as well, even if by a handful, thanks to the dedicated team of rangers, researchers, and community partners. More elephants can live free from fear of poachers and live out their lives the fullest in the wild. So that's pretty cool. So can they have the tusks now? Damn, that's cold. The damn elephant's not even cold yet. And you're asking if we can take the tusks now. I don't know, maybe. Anyway, that's good news that the elephant population is back on the rise. That was a big thing for a long time. Poaching elephants and rhinoceros for their tusks, and that's a good thing. Other holidays today, all right, so World Elephant Day, National Gooey Butter Cake Day. For those of you who have a supply of gooey butter cake, now just a question. Anyone know what this is? Gooey butter cake? And is there also a non-gooey butter cake? Because, how some people are gluten-free? I am kind of gooey-free. Is there a non-gooey butter cake day? Good question. National Middle Child Day. Well, we only had 2 kids in my family. International Youth Day, National Vinyl Record Day, and National Julienne Fries Day. There you go. That's the holidays of the day. Everyone celebrate. Fan-fucking-tastic. Moving on. Other couple things before I get into some news. Let's see. Happy birthday. Oh, today's celebrity birthday. And I'm not going to put a picture up here yet. But I want you to tell me if you know who this celebrity is. If you don't, well, maybe not so much a celebrity. Today, hang on a second, is Danica McKellar's birthday. Now, who knows who Danica McKellar is? And I'm sorry if you're an 80s, 90s, whatever kid, especially a young male, you probably know who Danica McKellar is. Yes, from the Wonder Years. She played Winnie on the Wonder Years, and she's I'm just scroll through some pictures of Danica McKellar just for Avocados Diaboli's viewing pleasure. There's here. Let's go left side here, because that's where the bigger picture will be. There we go. This is the hell's going on. Why didn't that show up? Oh, I see what he did. Let's just do it this way then. Here we go. There we go. Here's some photos of the lovely Deanna McKellar, who's grown up to be a lovely young woman, and apparently she did some risque stuff later in in between her early career and her late of 45 years old. She was born in 1975, which, some of you probably, never mind. I'm not even going to go there. Anyway, happy birthday, Danica McKellar, from the, what the hell's going on there? From the Wonder Years, AKA Winnie. I'm sure many a young man held her in high regard back in the day. Also, Mount Rushmore is trending now. Some of the dumb things that go on in the politics on my side of the ledger. And this is definitely one of them, because there's still another movement going around about putting Donald Trump on Mount Rushmore. Leave Mount Rushmore alone. Whether I like Trump or not, I don't want him on Mount Rushmore. I don't want Obama on Mount Rushmore. I don't want Pete Buttigieg on Mount Rushmore if he ever becomes president. I don't want Bill Clinton, Ronald Reagan. I don't want any. Leave Mount Rushmore alone. If you're going to do anything around Mount Rushmore, finish the suits, but don't put any more faces on Mount Rushmore, please. No. No. In the immortal words of the guy, what's the Michael Scott from The Office? No, no, no. Did I make myself clear? Yeah, Mount Rushmore is just fine the way it is. Leave it the fuck alone. All right. Why didn't that click? Why isn't my mouse working? There we go. There we go. All right. Let's see. And one other news item before I go to the hijacking of the show. Core CPI, Consumer Price Index, inflation numbers today. And, breaking, July core CPI inflation came in at 2.7%. Which was lower than expected. If Jerome Powell doesn't lower interest rates this week, President Trump needs to fire his Trump-hating ass. No, it's okay. No, look, I don't care. First of all, I don't think Trump hires or well, he hires, but he doesn't fire the Fed chairman. That's kind of he can put pressure, whatever. But anyway, core CPI 2.7% was projected 2.8. Or excuse me, headline CPI 2.7, projected 2.8, core CPI 3.1, projected 3.0. Now, when we're talking year over year, so if that number's not moving or coming in lower than expected, it just means that the month-to-month inflation is very low, which is a good thing. It's still not quite down to that 2% goal that the Fed has for lowering interest rates, which I'm not sure why they do that. But anyway, bears get wrecked once again. All the people complaining that, Trump's inflation from tariffs, which probably hasn't hit yet. I'm just saying, I'm going to be honest about that. But they're expecting it to be up significantly, and it's not anywhere above expectations. So there you go. Mike has bad knees. Welcome to the show. I need interest rates to stay where they are. Housing prices need to drop some more so I can afford one. Yeah, I'm not in any hurry for them to lower interest rates, because this is going to cause, another kind of housing rush. And it kind of sucks because, look, the one thing that has happened over the last several years with all these corporations buying single-family homes, which pisses me off to no end, it is hurting the housing market a lot. We're looking at downsizing our house. We're like, holy shit, if we downsize, we're going to be paying the same what we have for the house we have, because all the houses are so expensive now. I mean, we got our house on a dime because we bought a bank-owned home back when the interest rates were super low. And so it's like now it's hard to get it to pay off to even buy a smaller house, because, it's crazy. So anyway, we'll figure that out eventually. But, so there, yeah, core CPI, lower than expected. So, those probably a lot of crying and whinging and all that noise in the Democratosphere. So there you go. Let's do, the Gunfox dropped me 3 Hamiltons with 3 articles. So he has successfully hijack the show. So let's start with those. Man, this is from the BBC, and again, not from that BBC. No, it's not. But I could do the whole article in my sexy voice. Would that be annoying? Maybe. But it'll sound oh so good. Just saying. Yeah. No, we're not going to do it. Okay. All right. First, we got this one from the BBC. Man faces jail in the United States for shipping 850 turtles in socks to Hong Kong. Holy shit. Holy shit. Are they making soup in Hong Kong? A Chinese man has pleaded guilty in a U.S. district court to exporting around 850 protected turtles wrapped in socks and falsely labeled as toys, the U.S. Department of Justice said. Was he expecting those turtles to live? Why does Barney pretend he hasn't seen every episode of Upstairs, Downstairs 5 times? Upstairs, Downstairs. Was that was Upstairs, Downstairs. Was that like 70s late night show? Is that what that is? With what was her name? She had the 2 names, the 2 same name, like Mary or something like that. Is that what you're talking about? What is Upstairs, Downstairs? I don't even know what that is. Somebody tell me this. Anyway, between August 2023 and November 2024, Wei Jianlin exported to Hong Kong more than 200 parcels containing the turtles, according to the Justice Department statement on Monday. The boxes packed with the turtles had been labeled as containing plastic animal toys, among other things. The authorities said, yeah, animal toys. Mr. Lin primarily shipped eastern box turtles and 3-toed box turtles. Both species are native to the U.S. and highly prized by some pet owners. The turtles have unique markings on their shells and are seen as a status symbol in China, where they are often kept as pets. Oh, I thought they were making soup. Mary Hartman. That's what I was thinking of. That's not Upstairs, Downstairs, right? Anyway, yeah, that was it. Thank you, Somnambule Nation. I could remember. Anyway, so both species, which are smuggled in large quantities in the 1990s, are protected by the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora. Trade of the turtles can only be authorized with export permits or re-export certificates. So these turtles were surviving that? Oh, Upstairs, Downstairs was a British TV series that aired. They had that on. They played it on PBS, but I have no idea what it is. I mean, I know that it was on. I remember the name, but I don't remember the show. So anyway. No, that was the title of her show, Mary Hartman. Yeah, that was the late night, supposedly risque show. Anyway, let's see here. Besides the turtles, Mr. Lin also exported 11 other parcels filled with reptiles, including venomous snakes, according to the Justice Department. Mr. Lin, who is set to be sentenced on December 23rd, faces up to 5 years in prison. So how do you ship reptiles and turtles to Hong Kong and they survive? I suppose they can live a few days without food and water, but venomous snakes too? Okay, whatever. Anyway, so there, thank you, Gunfox, for that one. Let's try this next one from Gunfox61. This is about North Korea. North Korea tells BBC they are being sent to work like slaves in Russia. Oh, Kim Jong-un did volunteer some of his North Korean military to go fight in the Ukraine war too. I'm sure they're just cannon fodder for the Russians. But here we go. Thousands of North Koreans are being sent to work in slave-like conditions in Russia to fill a huge labor shortage exacerbated by Russia's ongoing invasion of Ukraine. The BBC has learned Moscow has repeatedly turned to Pyongyang to help fight the war, using its missiles, artillery shells, and its soldiers. Now, with many Russian men either killed or tied up fighting or having fled the country, South Korean intelligence officials have told the BBC that Moscow is increasingly relying on North Korean laborers. So, wow. was going to maybe, I wonder if all these people who are taking to Mexico tourism to cross our border illegally, what if they sent them to like, what borders Moscow? Finland. Send them to Finland and they can cross into the Russian border there and then they could go work there and it'd be like North Koreans. So anyway, they say we interviewed 6 North Korean workers who have fled to Russia. Excuse me. Hang on. I got to sneeze. Okay. It went away. Nope. It's coming back. Nope. Went away. We'll see what happens. Okay. We interviewed 6 North Korean workers who have fled to Russia since the start of the war, along with South Korean government officials, researchers, and those helping rescue the laborers. They detailed how the men were subjected to abysmal working conditions and how the North Korean authorities are tightening their control over the workers to stop them from escaping. One of the workers, Jin, told the BBC that when he landed in Russia's Far East, he was chaperoned from the airport to a construction site by a North Korean security agent who ordered him not to talk to anyone or look at anything. Because Russia's even more modern than North Korea. That's, this is it. Guys, when these North Koreans get out of North Korea and they see all the shit that everyone else has, they're like, what the fuck? That little fat fuck lied to us. Okay. And a lot of them like to escape. Anyway, the outside world is our enemy, the agent told him. He was put straight to work building high-rise apartment blocks for more than 18 hours a day, he said. All 6 workers we spoke to described the same punishing work days, waking at 6 a.m. and being forced to build high-rise apartments until 2 a.m. the next morning with just 2 days off a year. We have changed their names to protect them. Well, good, because they're not supposed to be talking to you. Good morning, Jaeger Pony, my favorite Canadians in the house. What's up? Waking up was terrifying, realizing you had to repeat the same day over and over again, like Groundhog's Day. Another construction worker, Tay, who managed to escape Russia last year. Tay recalled how his hands would seize up in the morning, unable to open, paralyzed from the previous day's work. So they're probably not going to tell you where they escaped to. Oh, Special Can Ass is in the house too on my my honorable mention list of favorite Canadians. So all my favorite Canadians are here. Wait, what was that? What did you say there? BS. I'm not sure what BS is. Okay, you guys are talking about. So anyway, yeah. This article goes on and on. So anyway, yeah, Kim Jong-un is sending North Koreans. I wonder who. Now, see, here's the thing. Somebody's getting paid. Who do you think's getting paid that deal? Yeah. Hey, send some of your laborers over here. The story is BS. You don't think it's real? You don't think it's real? I don't know. Okay. Let's do a poll. Is the North Is the North Korean story real? There's the poll. Got 5 minutes. All right, next. Last one Gunfox sent me was this one from Newsweek, which I'm shocked is still an outlet. Pakistan makes nuclear threat to India from U.S. soil. Oh, God. Here we go. A senior Pakistani military official on a visit to the United States vowed to respond forcefully to any escalation by India, saying any mistake by the neighbor could trigger a catastrophic conflict between the 2 nuclear-armed rivals. I don't know why I used that accent. That was terrible. The comments by Field Marshal Asim Munir, the Pakistani Army Chief of Staff, were delivered on Sunday at a gathering of the Pakistani community in Tampa. I didn't know there was a Pakistani community in Tampa, Florida. But anyway, according to the Pakistani news portal, Ari News. His remarks were widely reported in the Indian press. New Delhi responded on Monday by describing them as nuclear blackmail. The United States Department and India's External Affairs Ministry did not immediately respond to separate requests for comment. Now, why does it matter? Well, The Pakistani officials' warning demonstrated that tensions with India remain high despite the ceasefire. Well, it's remained high for 40, 50 fucking years. The warning, broader warming of ties between the United States and Pakistan. Oh, I see. Oh, this is Munir's trip to the United States and his second visit in as many months, part of a broader warming of ties between the United States and Pakistan, a major non-NATO ally to Washington since 2004, happening at the same time as the ongoing U.S.-India trade dispute over tariffs imposed by President Donald Trump on Indian goods. Yeah, we got to fix that. We got to stay friendly with India. I'm just saying. Quote, "We are a nuclear nation. If we think we're going down, we'll take half the world with us," Munir said, according to the print news site. Pakistani officials also threatened to destroy with 10 missiles any dam India builds in the Indus River. The website said in an apparent reference planned Indian dam projects that Pakistan say threaten its water security. Yeah, man. There's going to be a lot of fights over the water. I mean, there already kind of are. But anyway, so let's see what people are saying. The Field Marshal Said Munir says India is still adamant on creating instability in the region. Pakistan has made it clear that any India aggression will be met with befitting reply. Indian Ministry of External Affairs in a public comment. The international community can draw its own conclusions on the irresponsibility inherent in such remarks, which also reinforce the well-held doubts about the integrity of nuclear command and control in a state where the military is hand in glove with terrorist groups. And the Indian former Deputy National Security Advisor, Pankaj Charan, said this is unnecessary, unprovoked, and uncalled for. There is no real logical reason for all this to be happening, as in the jawing back and forth. It is important for the Americans to see through what he is doing, because if we continue down this path, it's not going to help American interests in the region or Indian interests. So everyone's, they put the swords away, but they're still kind of shaking them around like, hey, fucker, are we ever going to get it on? Ever. So there you go. Thank you, Gunfox61. Appreciate the Hamiltons and the lovely news. All right, let's get into the regular news today. Let's see. Here's one. Did you hear about the steel plant explosion yesterday? We didn't. That was after. That was in the afternoon. We were looking that up because we heard about it. At least one dead and one missing in Pennsylvania steel plant explosion. It was at the Clairton Coke Works in Clairton, Pennsylvania. It killed at least one person and injured 10 people. One person remains missing. Clairton is about 15 miles south of Pittsburgh. Allegheny County Emergency Services spokesperson Casey Regner said officials treated multiple people for injuries. Governor Josh Shapiro said multiple explosions occurred, but Scott Bukiso, Executive Vice President and Chief Manufacturing Officer for U.S. Steel, confirmed the plant had only one explosion. The coking plant, because they said something about a coke plant, and I'm like, you mean like Scarface Coke or Coca-Cola? Anyway, no, so coking is a process in the making of steel. The coking plant produces coke from coal. No, not the drug or drink. Coke is a porous, carbon-rich substance. Oh, if I'd have read the article a little farther, I'd have known they'd explain it. To make steel in a blast furnace, coal first must be turned into coke. Coke has a dual role in the steel-making process. First, it provides the heat needed to melt the ore. And second, when it is burnt, it has the effect of steeling, as in taking it away, not making it steel harder, the oxygen from the iron ore, leaving only the pure ore behind. In the coking plant, coal is heated in the absence of oxygen to 1250 degrees Celsius. Holy shit. And this removes any impurities in the coal, resulting in coke, which is a porous substance that is nearly all carbon. So there you go. So, but yeah, it was, there was a lot of stuff on X yesterday. You can find a lot of different photos and video of what happened there. It was, it sucks, it's fairly tragic. All right, Adam Schiff is trending on X, the app formerly known as Twitter, because, Adam may be in a little more trouble than they thought. First of all, Adam Schiff personally requested to leak classified information to try to harm Trump. Stephen Miller drops the mic on Adam Schiff for millions to see. TikTok, Adam. Here's Stephen Miller talking about it on that dastardly channel that all the liberals bring up over and over, Fox News.
Corrupt, one of the most shameful, one of the most heinous individuals ever to serve in public office in America, and everything he's devoted his life to has been debunked, discredited, and discarded. He literally represents the face of failure. His sole achievement in life was fighting a losing war against Donald Trump, and now President Trump is in the White House, and Adam Schiff is the leader of a dying and dethroned movement. This is, I mean, it really is amazing. Think about what the Democrat Party is fighting against. What are they trying? Adam Schiff.
Okay, that was a wasted clip. Here's a story about this, though. Whistleblower, Russiagate hoax was a Schiff-approved smear from the start. A veteran career intelligence officer who spent more than a decade working for the Democrats on the House Intelligence Committee repeatedly warned that the FBI, beginning in 2017, that then Representative Adam Schiff had personally approved leaking classified information to smear then President Donald Trump over the now debunked Russiagate hoax. Schiff became the face of the Trump-Russia collusion narrative, shamelessly reading from the discredited Steele dossier into the congressional record and falsely claiming to have seen intelligence proving Trump's guilt, claims that were pure fiction. According to Just the News, these new bombshell allegations are detailed in FBI memos that Director Kash Patel has now turned over to Congress, exposing Schiff's brazen use of intelligence as a political weapon. This is a quote from that article. The FBI 302 interview reports obtained by Just the News state the intelligence staffer, a Democrat by party affiliation who described himself as a friend of both Schiff, now a California senator, and former Republican House Intelligence Chairman Devin Nunes, considered the classified leaking to be unethical, illegal, and treasonous, but was told not to worry about it because Schiff believed he would be spared prosecution under the Constitution's speech and debate clause. No publicly disclosed opinion from Attorney General or the Solicitor General can be found making that determination as a matter of law. But officials told Just the News that DOJ officials showed little interest in pursuing Schiff when the allegations were brought to them 2 years ago, citing the very same excuse the lawmaker had offered. So then they have interviews and whatever from the FBI. Hello, Septus Wolf, by the way. That's one article on Adam Schiff. Other news, a Democratic representative has personally requested a meeting with illegal migrant gangbanger who kidnapped a child. Is this the same? No, this is a different one. I was going to say, is it Abrego or Brego? What's his name? Abrego? What the fuck was that dude's name? Not him. Not the guy they sent to El Salvador. Different dude. Oh, I'm on Top Chat. Am I missing any of these? Because I'm not. Well, there's not that many people here, so everything's top. Oh, by the way, is the story fake? Hang on. Wait a minute. Is the North Korea story real? 53 to 47% with 17 votes. Really? Somebody think that story's fake? All right. I guess I was surprised. It sounds perfectly logical to me, knowing how North Korea works and how Russia works and whatnot. Anyway. All right. Democratic congressman personally requested to meet with a criminal gangbanger and several other illegal migrants with serious rap sheets during a detention facility tour, according to the Department of Homeland Security. It's hard for me to do. Propaganda could be. Okay. Amid a Friday visit to Farmville Detention Center. Is that Jesus Christ. Okay, those of you who have played Farmville, did you ever build a detention center in Farmville? Okay, an immigration detention center in Virginia, Democratic Representative from Virginia, Don Bayer, personally requested to meet with several illegal migrant detainees with heinous criminal rap sheets. DHS exclusively shared with the Daily Caller One of the individuals Bayer asked to meet was Ricardo Hernando, an 18th Street gang member previously convicted of parental kidnapping, abduction by force, burglary to commit armed larceny, and a slate of other crimes. The 18th Street gang, known as Barrio 18, is a massive criminal syndicate originating in Los Angeles that boasts tens of thousands of members across the U.S. Holy shit. And Mexico and Central America. Across 3 different places. According to the Department of Justice, the gang largely takes in revenue from drug distribution, and its members have been convicted of an endless number of crimes, such as homicide, drive-by shootings, and robberies, and I'm sure a couple jaywalking crimes in there too. Anyway, and so Congressman Byers wanted to meet with, why did he want to meet with them? To see if they feel they're being treated fairly, or something. I don't know. Now, his Byers department responded to people talking about this. Oh, here it is. Democrats across the country are working overtime to stymie the Trump administration's illegal immigration crackdown, with tensions escalating over the immigration detention centers particularly. On July 30th, a dozen Democratic lawmakers filed a lawsuit against the Trump administration in a bid to gain unfettered access to migrant detention centers. The lawsuit is currently playing out in a federal court in Washington, D.C. And so here's the quote. Congressman Bayer recently exercised his lawful authority to conduct oversight of ICE facilities in Virginia with a visit to the Farmfield Detention Center. Aaron Fritchner, a spokesman for Bayer's office, stated to the Daily Caller. As part of his efforts to assess the conditions at the facility, Representative Bayer requested meetings with a number of detainees, including several individuals he was informed had been held for long periods in segregated confinement, have recently experienced mental health crises, or have seen long delays in getting medical attention for serious health conditions, and who have committed a slew of other crimes. So anyway, way to go, Representative Byers. You go and see them criminals and see what they're doing. In Minnesota, my neck of the woods, Midwest Damme announces top priority of elected, and it's not Minneapolis. So this guy is the guy who's the Democratic endorsed nominee for mayor of the city of Minneapolis, and which is amazing because there's a lot of Somali presence in Minneapolis, but it's not that high of a percentage. There's like 25,000 Somalis in Minneapolis proper, in a city of 360,000, and this guy ends up being the nominee for mayor. How does that happen? He's the new captain now. Yeah, he is. Democratic mayoral candidate Omar Fateh of Minneapolis said in an interview that his first priority as mayor, his very number one top priority as mayor of Minneapolis, Minnesota, would be to protect undocumented residents from what he claimed was a hostile federal government. That's his top priority in Minneapolis. See, you can't really walk downtown after a Timberwolves or Lynx game, but God darn it, we got to make sure the undocumented immigrants are happy and well fed. That's it. I'm not even reading the rest of that. You can read the rest yourself. Good for them. Fuck that guy. I don't live in Minneapolis, though, so I live far enough away where I don't have to worry about it. ABC News host on air being jumped 2 blocks from D.C. studio after Trump announced the crime crackdown. So we'll get to. I want to talk about that in a second. I'm going to skip a lot of stuff so we can talk about the D.C. thing here. But apparently, she talks about on air 2 days after Trump announced the crime crackdown. ABC News anchor Kyra Phillips recalled on air Monday being jumped only 2 blocks away from her Washington, D.C. studio within the last 2 years. Violent crimes in the nation's capitals have supposedly plunged since 2023, the Washington Post reported on Monday, citing data from the Metropolitan Police Department. However, Phillips noted that several alleged crimes have occurred around ABC News Washington, D.C.'s bureau, including 2 employees of the network that were allegedly victims. So here's her talking about that
We've been talking so much about the numbers, and yeah, usually that's how you play devil's advocate, is you talk about, oh, well, stats say crime is down. However, I can tell you firsthand here in downtown D.C. where we work, right here around our bureau, just in the past 6 months, there were 2 people shot. 1 person died, literally 2 blocks down here from the bureau. It was within the last 2 years that I actually was jumped walking just 2 blocks down from here. And then just this morning, one of my coworkers said her car was stolen a block away from the bureau. So we can talk about the numbers going down, but crime is happening every single day because we're all experiencing it firsthand while working and living down here.
Now, my guess is she is going to catch hell for that. Just even intimating that, oh my gosh, she has her own personal experience with crime in Washington, D.C. And so, and if you don't know what we're talking about completely, and it's basically the headline today. So Donald Trump has sent assets from the federal government into D.C. They're talking about, helping the police departments and whatnot, right? And so you got this this trending topic here. Trump seizes control of D.C. police, deploys guard. President Donald Trump has invoked Section 740 of the D.C. Home Rule Act, placing Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police Department under federal control and deploying the National Guard in response to what he describes as rampant crime. Despite these claims, now this is X aggregates what people are saying. So here it is. Despite these claims, recent data indicates that crime in D.C. is at a 30-year low. This move has sparked debates over federal overreach versus local governance, with criticism from D.C. officials and calls for statehood gaining traction. The intervention is juxtaposed with other political issues, including Trump's handling of the Epstein files. So lots of people try to, some are saying this is a distraction from Epstein files, whatever. We'll see what happens with that. There's more stuff coming out about that. But interestingly enough, the president of the D.C. Police Union has come out in full support of President Trump's takeover of the police department. He says, we completely agree with the president that crime in the District of Columbia is out of control and something that needs to be done. I won't play the clip, but it's in this thing, in the thread. And then there's more threads. This one from the New York Post where they put this up. Or excuse me, federal takeover D.C. police amid crime rate debate. So there's a debate about the crime rate, right? So articles about this. This is Andrew McCabe. Oh, for fuck's sake. Why do they talk to Andrew McCabe about anything? Anyway, he says the crackdown will have negative impacts on the safety of this country. I'm not sure what that means. Let's see what he says.
Brian Todd, thank you so much for
no, it's 7 minutes. Fuck that. Let's get the highlights. On Monday, CNN News Central, former Deputy Director of the FBI, Andrew McCabe, claimed that President Trump taking federal control of the police department in Washington, D.C. will cause major impacts for the safety and security of this country. He said, there are a lot of worries that worries me about this. First of all, it's hard to explain the lack of pushback by D.C. authorities right now. I would suspect they're probably trying to get their heads around this entire thing. It's absolutely bizarre. He said, you are looking at things like having hundreds of FBI agents, quote unquote, patrol the streets in D.C. This is not something FBI agents do. They're not trained for it. They don't plan on that. They don't have that sort of legal authority intrinsically. So to understand exactly how the FBI agents are going to start making arrests around D.C. again on areas that are not federal property, that is not something that has been worked out in any way. Well, we don't know what's been worked out because you're not in the process anymore, Andrew McCabe, because you're a shitbag who's gone. But anyway, and so like on MSNBC, they're having a meltdown. I'm trying to hold my temper. MSNBC contributor on the verge of melting down over Trump's DC crime crackdown. Here is, I can't remember this dickhead's name. It's Eddie Glaude. That's him. Hey, listen to him.
Chris, to be honest with you, I'm trying to hold my temper.
Oh, are you going to cry?
I think there's an ongoing argument that he's having in his head with Black Lives Matter. There's an ongoing argument that he's having with
Black Lives Matter
questions around criminal justice reform and police reform. It's interesting that he really doesn't really care about what's actually happening in D.C. on a certain level because he's not trying to get at the underlying root cause.
Because he's going to say that crime is going to be way down, 30-year low, right?
He's not looking at examples of how to address rising crime rates that doesn't require a form of policing that leads to increased incarcerality and the like. Let's look at what's going on in Baltimore. Let's look at what's happening actually in places like Baltimore and Chicago, right? So part of what we have to do is to understand. And Oakland. We have to understand this, Chris, within the context of Donald Trump's racial politics and within the context of his effort to get Epstein off the front pages. I understand David's point, but when we try to treat this as a rational response, then we lose sight of the actual politics that's being played here. And he's actually trying to give his base red meat to get them off of the Epstein story, and it's on the backs of citizens in Washington, D.C. He's going to undermine the democratic process in the district.
Now, this is
Chris, to be honest with you, I'm trying to hold my temper.
A typical Democratic argument on this. And look, I'm questioning it myself. I don't like the idea that you put federal control over, in the states. But again, D.C., that's part of the kind of the law structure in D.C. that the federal government can take over if they invoke certain conditions. Now, but about the crime thing, okay, this is interesting. Let me move. Where is it? This question of is D.C. crime at a 30-year low? Mainstream media outlets cite police data to say yes, without noting that a commander is on leave for allegedly falsifying data. Isn't that special? After President Trump announced a federal crackdown on lawlessness in Washington, D.C., mainstream media outlets and the Democratic politicians claim violent crime in the nation's capital has fallen sharply and has reached a 30-year low. Their claims, though, rest on questionable police data that local leaders are accusing of falsifying to play down the city's violent crime problem. The Metropolitan Police Department recently suspended a commander for allegedly manipulating that data, and a fact that the mainstream media reports excluded. Politico reported Monday that crime in Washington hit a 30-year low last year, despite the president declaring public safety emergency in the district, and attempted to cast the city as dangerous. The NPR story stated that Trump ordered the federal intervention despite the fact that violent crime plunged to a 30-year low last year, according to data compiled by the U.S. Department of Justice. The Guardian similarly claimed the same thing, so I'm not going to read the whole thing. And the hometown Washington Post said that Trump has tried to cast the Capitol as overrun with violent youngsters, arguing instead that crime data paint a contrasting picture. And then they go, basically what everyone says about violent crime. But there is a problem in that they're reporting maybe suspect. And obviously, when they're reporting crime, often it's crime that you have captured somebody on. So, and they tend to release a lot of people and not charge them with anything. So then is it a crime if you don't get charged? So you can read the rest of this. There's other more interesting points in there to make, but it's just crazy. But the D.C. Police Union backs Trump on this. And then the last one, John Turley, who the Democratic lawyer who always sides with Republicans, explains why the D.C. crackdown can't be stopped. George Washington University law professor Jonathan Turley said on Monday President Trump's crackdown on crime in Washington, D.C. couldn't be stopped due to the status of the nation's capital. Trump announced the deployment of the National Guard to combat crime in the District of Columbia days after the Department of Government Efficiency staffer Edward Korstein, known by the moniker Big Balls, was severely injured when he intervened to prevent a carjacking. Turley said that because D.C. is a federal enclave, Trump has the leeway to take control. Because he couldn't do this in a state. He couldn't go into Baltimore and do this. He couldn't go into whatever nearest city in Virginia to do this. He couldn't go into New York and do this. But because D.C. is D.C., it's it's within his kind of his jurisdiction, so to speak. So it's a mixed bag. I don't know what his obviously he got mad because Big Balls got his ass beat up and trying to save some people. I've just never, I don't know. Me, I anytime you put more federal control into something, it just fucks it up. So I don't know. We'll see what happens here. All right. What's this? They do know that violent crime is not the only type of crime, right? That too. People in D.C. have become so apathetic they don't even report crimes anymore. True. And even if you know nothing will happen to someone, why even bother calling the cops? All three points which deserve a bell. If I can ring the damn bell. I need to get a manual bell. This electronic bell just sucks. Okay, let's go back, since I have some time, and do a little bit of just ideas, things people are talking about as far as trending topics. Kim Davis is trending. She's the woman in Kentucky who was a kind of a county clerk, and she was jailed in 2015 for refusing to violate her Christian beliefs, and she's taking her case to the Supreme Court. This is obviously a person on the right writing this, but she simply did not want to be the person who issued a marriage license to a same-sex couple. This isn't just about her. It's about whether the government can force Americans to betray their faith or be punished. And, oh my God, everyone to Kim Davis the past decade, you raggedy bitch. Anyway, 10 years, this is the ABC story, 10 years after the Supreme Court extended marriage rights to same-sex couples nationwide, the justices this fall will consider for the first time whether to take up a case that explicitly asks them to overturn that decision. Yeah, they're going to, I don't know. Here's my prediction. They are not going to overturn Obergefell. What they will do is make a narrow decision based on this woman's religious beliefs that she shouldn't have to be the one to write the marriage license. Just like if a Muslim works at a grocery store, they're not going to force them to handle bacon. You know what I mean? That's where I think that the decision is going to be. But people on the left are very, very concerned about the Obergefell decision. That's the one where they said they would allow, they made a decision that made same-sex marriage the rule of the land. And here's my take on same-sex marriage. I don't care. I really don't. I've known people that before the government gave its blessing to any kind of marriage, because my marriage, believe me, my personal marriage, the government's endorsement via a marriage license has nothing to do with my marriage other than they can tax me for getting married. Okay. And I've known people who've had weddings of same-sex weddings since the 80s. And we had a gay friend. I went to his wedding. Okay. We went to a wedding, of a lesbian couple because they're our friends. And even though personally, to me, marriage between two of the same sex is an oxymoron, I also respect my friends for them making a commitment to the other. I don't care. But it's so wild that, I didn't think we'd even be talking about this again because Trump is pro-gay marriage or pro, whatever. It's not why it's in any law whatsoever. I don't know. So what I'm like, whatever, don't care. Anyway, but they're really worried about the overturning of Obergefell, the Obergefell decision. And it's like, what? This gay couple got 100 years in prison for raping their adopted son. Okay, that's, as I scroll through it, holy shit. Marriage between one man and one woman, Obergefell should be corrected. Let's just, everyone follow their own decision on that. But I don't know why there's even anything to do with federal law or state laws for that matter. But it's a demand for the state, meaning everyone else, to validate your personal decisions. Don't kill. Don't care. And if, like I said, gay people get married forever, even if they can't call it a government marriage. I don't care. But this, I don't think they're going to overturn Obergefell. It's my prediction. I think it'd be terrible. As Thomas said in his decent dissent during Obergefell. What did he say? Sorry, but she needed to quit because she was working for an anti-Christian organization like the federal government. Marriage shouldn't be included in the federal law at all. It should not. Take it away from the IRS and it won't matter anymore. Yes, I agree with that too. I don't know why the IRS has any special thing for marriage. I mean, but you tax what you want less of, and you don't tax what you want more of. And maybe that's why they're giving you kind of a break for being married. But I just don't agree with it. My marriage is not the government's fucking business. That's what I'm saying. Unless you're married to your sister, and then they can say, you shouldn't go there, but whatever. Don't care. Next. Gavin Newsom. Now there's different spellings of Gavin Newsom trending, and we'll finish with this. First, there's Gavin Newscum, which is what Donald Trump calls him. And then there's Gavin Newsom spelled the correct way. And then there's a Gavin Newsom spelled with an E on the end, which is just one of those things that people do. They tend to have their own spellings of things. But apparently Gavin Newsom has sent a letter to President Trump threatening him to call off the redistricting in Texas, or Newsom will create an all-out war. Donald Trump says Gavin Newscum is incompetent. He's got a good line of bullshit, but that's about it. He's incompetent. Let's see. Does Newsom even look every corner of the state to see an opportunity to do harm, like some demented ferret? Yeah, there's another report here where Newsom or Democrats cut the water off to California ranchers with no warning. Quote, "We just found out we're not going to be able to get any irrigation water, which shuts us down as ranchers. We're just kind of looking at just having to go out of business, because that's what we do here is raise cattle. If we don't have any water, that's going to be taken away from us. We'll go dry. What do you do with a dry land that you can't grow anything on? We're all going to have to go out of business. Save the Potter Valley Project, save Lake Pillsbury, save our waters, save our homes, save our farms." Democratic officials like Governor Gavin Newsom and Congressman Jared Huffman, who represent the region. Huffman, a former attorney for the Natural Resource Defense Council, has supported environmental restoration efforts, including fish-friendly diversions, which align with dam removal advocacy. Because they've been trying to get rid of dams in California, which kind of fucks up the farmers, which is their one of their biggest industry is farming in California. Local advocates argue that Democratic leadership prioritizes environmental goals over rural communities' water needs, with some pointing to PG&E's political donations to Newsom and Huffman as evidence of influence. So there's a whole story in there. I had another story about that somewhere here, but it's missing. I already went through these. Well, that's okay. All right. Let's see. It's all out war, really? Well, yeah, all out war. I don't know about that. I don't know. They'll be bringing in those privately owned tanks and missiles, but it ain't gonna happen. All right, that's gonna be it for today. There's several other articles open. Plus, there's a really good section in the Ace of Spades blog today about Democrat and Rhino scandals. That there's a couple of really kickers in there, and then also one about an article about the Kim Doyle petition to revisit the gay marriage decision, which I think the court is going to very narrowly rule on her particular case in her job, and where they could have gotten someone else to go sign that certificate for her. So that's it. Let me just drop these links in the chat, and I'm going to get out of here. I thank you all for joining me today on the Morning Night Live. Thanks to Gunfox, the superstar sponsor today. Thanks for AD dropping in bright and early, as always, and everyone else in the chat who made it. It's great to have you here, and I hope to see you here a lot more often, but that's it. I got to go. Here come the links as soon as this copy and paste happens. Here are the links from today. I think I put links, but that's okay. There you go. That's it. Gotta go. Those links will be in this description. My name is PDawgKnight, and I am out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is PDawgKnight, and thanks for watching today on the PDawgKnight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cashapp, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here.